It's 2 years today since President William Ruto and Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua were at Kasarani and they did the thing. Okay? And we all remember what Rigathi did. Okay, but forget about that. They took oath of office and said, we are now in office, formally inaugurated as President and Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya on this day. Since then, the Kenya Kwanza administration has done many things, in terms of just meeting what were the pledges that had been made, what had started, what was continuing. And the question is, okay, there are some misses, there are some hits, there are some misses. Let's talk about a sector that people don't talk about much, but it is a very big sector in this country. That's the livestock sector in this country. Kenya's livestock population, and the man will be here and he'll tell us, we have among the largest herd of livestock in the continent. Do people even know this?
No.
What do we do with our hides and skins? What do we do with our nyama? We only know meat as nyama. Do we know all the other things that we can do with everything from that animal? The Principal Secretary for Livestock Production is Jonathan Mueke. He's our guest. Good morning, PS.
Good morning, Eric.
How are you doing?
Very well, thanks.
Good to have you back in the Situation Room.
Yes, it's been a while. Very good to see you guys.
Karibu sana.
Karibu
sana.
Yes.
Asante sana.
So to usher you into the conversation, CT will give you the day's proverb. This week the proverbs are from?
The Federal Republic of Somalia.
Right.
Yes. This is the final day of the Proverbs. A very interesting country with a very, very rich history. Yes, this is a country whose existence was documented 2035 BC. No, 2335 BC. It had been documented.
Why?
Yes. When people talk of the biblical land of Punt, this is the place they're talking about.
Ndio Punt is this one.
And I see Pant ni Punt.
Okay.
So you meant to Punt. Okay. Well, here we are. A beggar and a ruler know people best.
A beggar and a ruler know people best.
Yes, they do.
P.S., what's the interpretation of this proverb?
Both of them always interact with people and are able to see their characters as they rule over them or they beg from them.
Very true. And they see a very large diversity of people as well.
They are dealing with all manner of people.
Yes, they do. In fact, they actually can't choose really who they see. Yes, those two positions get you to encounter the diversity of mankind.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So your State Department is the State Department for Livestock Production.
Development.
Right, livestock development, rather. Yes, in the country. Of course, the other one is crop production.
Yes.
Livestock development. What's the main job of this State Department?
The main job is to commercialize livestock. Eric, now we are in an era of economic transformation, putting more money in people's pockets, which is the very foundation of our government. And livestock is one of those bottom-up sectors where we are able to very quickly put money in the pockets of our farmers if we commercialize livestock. So we are making that shift from livestock being something that you do as a hobby or something you do in retirement or something you do for cultural reasons or for subsistence, so that you're keeping a goat so that mtu akikuja weekend muchinje, to saying, listen, if you produce this goat properly, it can actually be a household income for you. So my biggest job is how to commercialize livestock.
When you say livestock, what exactly do we mean?
Livestock is 5 products. So we are talking about meat, talking about milk, honey, eggs, and leather. So those are the 5 products of livestock.
Okay. From all animals in Kenya, or are there specific animals that are?
We have about 12 animals that constitute of livestock, and we are just about to gazette the 13th, which is going to be the water buffalo. So what we do is we gazette animals as food animals, and those are the ones that constitute livestock.
Okay. The 11th was the donkey, wasn't it?
I'm not. It's one of them. It's the latest one that we gazetted as a food animal.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where it was within the list. We don't rank them. We just know that we have 12.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, commercialization, of course, of livestock means very many things to very many people. There are people who would tell you, but yeah, we know, I mean, we keep cows so we can sell milk. They'll tell you we rear chickens so we can sell eggs. We have bees, we do beekeeping so we can sell the honey. We sell our animals so we can pay school fees. We sell our cattle, our sheep, our goats. I mean, we use that to settle school fees, hospital, all financial needs. We know, I go, nauza ng'ombe 3 mbili, napata pesa, nalipa mtoto school fees. What are you talking about now at the commercialization of it? What more do you need?
You see, when people do that, they're only keeping those to serve a certain kind of need. Yeah. But where we are saying commercialization, it's that somebody now deliberately depends on livestock for their livelihood. Just like Eric, how you come to work in the morning, you do your work, at the end of the month, you're paid a salary.
Yeah.
So with livestock, we're trying to say now, listen, if we increase your productivity, if we tell you how to breed properly, give you optimum nutrition for your livestock, ensure that your livestock is healthy by dealing with animal health, then finding a consistent market for you. If you are selling your cow for 30,000 shillings, now you can sell it for 50. And we can do that consistently so that when you wake up in the morning, your job is to rear livestock because, this is your livelihood and this is your salary, if you will. So treat it now as a complete business, not as an insurance program that ndakuwa na ng'ombe, if I need school fees, then I'll sell the cow. But when you need school fees, might not be the right season to sell the cow. Might be during a drought. Your cow could die before you get to sell to sell it for school fees. Then you get into a crisis. So what we are saying is now let's be deliberate. Let's tell you, listen, you're in this area. The best breed for a cow in Taita Taveta is this breed. Let's give you the correct genetics for your cow. Let's tell you for this breed, this is what you need to feed it. So we call it the meat conversion, so that you feed it as little as possible, which means you reduce your input, your costs, and to get as maximum weight as possible, because we sell per kilo. So the bigger your cow, the more kilos it is, the more money in your pocket. And then we find you that market that is direct, not through brokers who take advantage of you, so that you can now sell it for top price. And that way now you begin to do it like a business.
Both locally and export.
Both locally and export. So what we did, because we are talking about trade here and commerce, we took a value chain approach. And we said, before we do anything, we have to start with the market. So we went and did a route to market study for leather, for meat, to understand where is the market, what does the market need, with what quality, in what quantities, who are the competitors, what are the barriers to entry, what are the quantities that are needed, when are they needed, what are the cycles, and all of that. So we understood that completely, and now we found out that the market needs good quality products with very big quantities and consistently. So now we move back to production. So what we are doing now is we are giving the farmers the support they need to produce for the market. Because you can spend all your time producing. It takes almost 9 months to produce a goat. Then you produce the wrong goat. So then you can't sell it. So we are starting from scratch and saying, okay, fine, the market is looking for this kind of breeds and all of that. And then you really commercialize it that way.
But P.S., why are you saying you're starting? I mean, I thought these are the things that the State Department for Livestock has been supposed to be doing over the years. We have very many research institutions in agriculture.
Correct.
Research institutions specific to livestock.
Correct.
Right? Even when it comes to breeding, there are institutions for breeding.
Correct.
Right? So why are we starting?
Eric, there's been a transformational shift with this administration, the Kenya Kwanza administration. And I guess that's why sometimes we've had challenges with even the populace really understanding, because we've made a paradigm shift in the way we think. We've moved from socialization to really economic transformation. Now, previously, livestock was about livestock. So you have all these breeding centers. We want the cow to look like this. We want to make sure your cow is healthy. We want to make sure your cow is taken care of in terms of welfare. It was about livestock. Now we have changed the game completely and we are saying it's about people. It's about people. So for me, I'm saying we're using livestock as an enabler to improve livelihoods for people. And that's where the fundamental change is. So we are saying now this cow, before we wanted the best for the cow. Now, how do we make the best cow for the person? So that the person can gain from the cow.
So you need to change the person. Because all those things that you're saying, this person has been, rearing the cow.
Correct.
For prestige.
Correct.
Social status.
Yes.
As one time I'll sell and make some money, but it's not really important. I'll sell it when I need to, right?
Yes.
Now you're telling this person that when that calf is born, look at it as money.
Correct.
And start thinking about the journey towards how it shall become money to you.
Correct.
So you're changing the person.
Yes, we are changing the person. And that's why we are focusing on the person and capacity building the person.
Now you're changing
the
people's
person,
cultural upbringing.
It's not really cultural upbringing because they sell the cattle anyway. We're just telling them, listen, guys, you also now need to be resilient. It makes absolutely no sense for you to rear an animal for prestige and wealth status for 4 years, and then after 4 years we have a prolonged drought and all your animals die. Then you come back to government and say, Serikali's idea, please restock for us, we've lost all our animals. So we are saying, listen, why don't you commercialize this thing? We know livestock keeping is your culture, you can do it, but a cow matures at 18 months and it's ready for slaughter. Why do you want to keep it for 5 years? From that 18 months all the way for another 3.5 years, you are now having costs on your cow that you can never recover. Because at 18 months it's matured, it's gained its maximum weight, you'll never get more money for that cow. But you have to keep feeding it, you have to keep treating it, you need to keep taking it to the cattle dip and all of that. So it's for 3.5 years, it's completely loss making for you, doesn't make any sense. Take it to slaughter, because it's going to die anyway during the drought and you'll get nothing. Get some money, go back and buy a new stock, and you just keep improving. So what happens is you're now killing two birds with one stone, because once you sell it, you're selling it for profit. You can take your profit, put it in the bank account. Now you're inside the financial system and you still have your cow. Before you have a cow and no money. Now you have a cow and money. So it's better for you.
So what are the hindrances? What are the things that prevent people from adhering to what you said is clearly, it's logical, but what prevents them from simply following these very simply laid out dictates?
What Eric was saying, culture.
Okay.
Culture. Yes, our pastoralists have a culture of they just want to see animals, and especially now we are really trying to capacity build them because we've had some good rains, so our animals are very good looking
right now
and very healthy right now, and so nobody wants to sell because they want to look outside in their farm and see very healthy animals and be very proud because their cows and their goats look very good. But the meteorology department has told us that we are going to have below average short rains and we could be going into a drought from October. So that very good animal could lose all that weight and die, being a total loss for that farmer. But in the commercial sense, when your animal has reached that maturity and maximum weight and looking very good, that's the right time to sell for maximum money.
Do we have success stories with what you have proposed and what you're talking about, where people have been able to embrace these changes? And what is it that was identified as what it is that made them more amenable to actually changing their ways of managing this particular wealth that they have?
So one of the success stories in the sector is dairy. And it has a lot to do with farmer producer groups, cooperatives, community self-help groups. Dairy has been very successful in that because they've come together in groups and cooperatives. They produce milk. They have good markets, so the processors, your KCCs and your bios and your latos come and pick up milk twice a day. And they've been able to see the value of this. So what they keep saying is, listen, if we improve our quality, we can get more money. If we improve our quantity, we can get more money. And so they keep pushing themselves to productivity. It's no longer just about keeping a cow that can do 2 liters or 3 liters a day. They say, what is it we need to do to get 10 liters or 15 liters? Because they see the benefit. And they're like, this cow of mine, if it gives me 3 liters at 50 shillings, it's 150 shillings a day. But if it gives me 10 liters at 50 shillings, it's 500 shillings a day. They can see it. So now they come to us and they say, this same cow, without making any more investment in a different cow, how can I move from 3 liters to 10 liters? Then we tell them, first of all, do you have the right breed? If not, we are going to give you the right genetics so that this same cow can give back to a calf that can give you 10 liters. Then we come and tell you, okay, what are you feeding the cow? Yep. Is it efficient? And the cow dairy is very interesting. You see a change in 5 days. So you can move from 3 liters to 10 liters in 5 days if you do good feeding. So we give them good feed rations for the nutrition that's needed. Productivity comes up. Same cow. And remember, the milk is collected every day. So today you're getting 150, tomorrow you're getting 500. Same cow. So it clicks. Now we are trying to move that into the meat sector and into the honey sector so that they can begin to see the same thing. And I think the best way to be able to change that mindset is by putting these people into farmer groups, especially the younger people who are not so ingrained in the culture. So that for them from the get-go is hii ni biashara. Yeah, so we put them together, donate some breeding stock for them, which we have in our research centers, sure they have the right breed, the right feeding regime, vaccinate them to make sure that the animal health is good, treat them, teach them on how to treat the cow for husbandry manenos, and then offtake in 6 months, because we have the market and the market really is looking for our meat.
But that's the issue. You see, what you've given us as an example in the milk sector,
yes,
you've given us examples of market players,
yes,
right? So where the farmers are then incentivized, if you organize yourselves well, there is clear offtake.
Correct.
There's a market that's organized.
Correct.
The meat sector's market, is it as organized as the milk sector's market?
It is.
Where we see animals are taken to a local market, in all these areas. There's Tuesday is a day for soko ya ng'ombe in this area. Wednesday it moves to here. Thursday it moves to here. That's how we see the organization of the market, just at that basic level. Who takes those cows from those markets? Traders who are middlemen. They take the cows from those small markets in Kimana, in Lorica, in Brigani. They bring them to Emali. Then another trader picks it from Emali, brings it to Nairobi, to Kichinjio.
Yes.
That market is completely disorganized.
Yes.
If there was an organized market, don't you think then there'd be more value for the farmer?
The market is disorganized because the farmer is disorganized. So they're being taken advantage of. So you go to Mudha in my home county, Kitui, which is the biggest market that side, and you have been rearing a goat for 7 months, and you sell it for 4,500. Somebody comes and picks it up, puts it in a truck, has the goat for only 3 hours. You did 7 months.
Yep.
And sells it for 10,000 at Kiamaiko. So you get 4,500. Maybe you've spent 4,000 shillings rearing that goat, so you make 500 shillings. This guy makes 6,000 or 5,500 minus his 1,000 transport costs and puts 3,500 in the pocket. Yeah. Now, if the farmers could be organized, then Kiamaiko would be coming directly to them to say, you guys, aggregate, I will come to Mudha and I will pick from you. But right now, since the farmer is not organized, then you have to depend on brokers to do their aggregation. And that's where our very revolutionary farmers digital database is helping us. we came and we've registered almost 6.5 million farmers since Kenya Kwanza came into office. And that is now to look at the entire agricultural sector, because the same farmer who has maize is the same one who's doing dairy, is the same one who has a goat and a chicken and maybe a beehive. So we've registered the farmers. So we now know where they are. We now know what they are keeping, and now we can target them with this kind of extension service to ensure that we can put them in groups properly and then move. And we've already started this work.
Do we know our livestock population?
Yes, we have 22 million cows. We have about 50 million sheep and goats.
Camels?
3 million.
3 million camels.
Yeah. Pigs, I think pigs should be about 1.5 million, if I'm not wrong.
Do poultry fall under livestock?
Yes.
So this is statistics as of when?
This is statistics as of 2022. We are right now embarking on an activity called the Livestock Master Plan that will finish in December. And this is what is now going to really give us proper statistics on all markets, all slaughterhouses, all the livestock, and then we will be updating them through a technology called livestock identification and traceability, which we should be starting maybe in another month or so. We've already finished the tender, awarded it last week. We're just waiting for other procurement things to go on, and in about a month we'll roll out that program where we're going to tag all our livestock.
One would have hoped that this exercise of registering the farmers would simultaneously have done a census on the livestock, because they were coming and saying, Mama Eric, you're a farmer, what do you have?
Yes, and we did that. That's where we were able to get a baseline, but you have to realize that also 70% of our livestock is in the ASAL areas where you necessarily don't grow crops.
So the 6.5 million farmers does not capture ASAL areas?
No, it doesn't. It's mainly for the people who do crops. We have done that primarily for our fertilizer subsidy program, but we were able to capture also the livestock of those farmers, and we have that record. But most of the other farmers are up north, and they don't do crops, they only do livestock, and that's why now we are running another exercise to target them.
And the larger population of livestock is in the ASAL area?
Yes, almost 70%.
Let's take a break. 27 minutes to 9. Our guest this morning is Jonathan Mueke, Principal Secretary in the State Department for Livestock Development in the Ministry of Agriculture, Livestock Development, and what else?
Agriculture and Livestock Development.
Bas, that's it. Okay. Hiya. He is our guest today. We're looking at the state of the livestock sector in Kenya. What has the Kenya Kwanza administration done in the last 2 years? He says, what they got into office is they said, let's change this paradigm. Let's look at our livestock and let's look at our people and put focus now on the people. Can people make money from livestock rearing? We're talking about 12 animals that have been classified as food items. We're then in those products, meat, milk, honey, eggs, leather. How do we improve this sector so that it makes money for people and it makes commercial sense for people? So 2 years, Jonathan, what have you done?
We focused on 2 value chains, dairy and leather. Like I said, we first did route to market studies, so we understand what the market wants. Then we went in and started production. Now, for production, we realized we needed to do 3 things. Actually, 4 things, but we've been able to accomplish 3. The 4th one is the one that's underway. Number 1 is breed improvement. So we put together a team of experts who revalidated which breeds we need in which ways, and we began to deliver the same to the farmers. In the dairy sector, we introduced a technology called sexed semen, genetics for our dairy cows. What this does is it ensures that once you inseminate your dairy cow, you have a 90% chance of that cow giving birth to a heifer. Because when you get a bull calf, a male calf, in the dairy industry, it is a big loss for you. Yeah, you can't milk it. So you can't open a beef sector. So now this has been revolutionary for our farmers, because before it was a 50-50 chance once you inseminate, but now
How was this done?
90% chance.
How was this done? How did we get this sex semen genetics done?
We are importing right now from Germany, as we are working to buy our own machines to do the semen sexing. So semen sexing really is taking the semen and extracting the Y and X chromosomes, and then now inseminate into the cow, and that gives your cow 90% chance of giving you a female calf. That has been revolutionary. It was a very expensive when we started at 8,000 shillings, but the president directed on Madaraka Day that we reduce that price to 2,000 to under 3,000 shillings, and we're able to reduce it to 2,900 shillings. So
What do you mean by reducing? So who's covering the rest of the cost?
well, a big part of the cost is that private sector is the one that we're doing the importation of the same and sending it to our commercial farmers at a very high rate. And when the president directed the cost to come down, we have an institution called KAGRIC, Kenya Animal Genetics Resources Center, that's under the State Department for Livestock, and the president ordered that we do the importation and the packaging ourselves and sell it to the farmer at cost. So we were able to bring it all the way from 8,000 shillings to 2,900 shillings. That has revolutionized the dairy sector.
P.S.,
So
are you
getting
saying
the breed right? Yes.
that over the years where we've had KAGRIC, we've had CALRO, we have had all these research institutions, we've never, even KEVAP, not KEVAP is for vaccines,
Yeah.
we've never been able to do this.
There's a new technology. It's like you asking me right now, all these
What
years
is new?
since
New is
we've
how many
been-
years?
Just about 3 or 4 years old.
In Germany. So it's being
Worldwide.
So it's being piloted now through the world.
No, it's not being piloted. It's ready now.
Now it's being commercialized.
It's being commercialized. That's why we are buying it. But it's a new technology. Science evolves all the time. It's like you asking me, why didn't we have electric cars in 1940s?
Yeah, why
they were
didn't
not there.
Okay. How many farmers
So
have
we didn't
benefited
have
from
sex semen
this
10 years ago.
breed improvement?
Yes.
How many farmers have benefited from it? Are they accessing it through cooperatives? Is it direct farmers? Are they buying from a specific?
Since the president since President Ruto made the commitment in June 1st, we've been able to bring in 20,000 doses, and they've all gone.
So how many farmers?
20,000 doses, and we give them to the cooperatives. I don't have the data on how many farmers, because maybe one farmer bought 10 or 20, so I don't have that data.
Yeah.
But I know 20,000 doses, so we've been able to impact 20,000.
What's the target?
200,000.
So when do we hope to get to reach the 200,000?
This was our first pilot. So we were seeing how this goes, and they've really gone. We are now going to increase that to 50,000 this financial year. We have that in our budget, and then progressively bring it up to 200,000.
Was there a specific format in the rolling out of this, so that you say, I mean, this is Kenya Kwanza, it's bottom up, it's looking at the hustlers, the small dairy farmers who really, really would benefit from this, and making sure that those ones are the first ones to benefit or are benefiting? Can we now say that, if we go to an area where we have a concentration of dairy farmers and they're organized, say Githongori, we can say that farmers in Githongori have benefited from this. These are people who have 4 or 5 cows, and that this has not gone to benefit people with large herds of cows who are big dairy farmers.
If we go to that micro level, we'll miss the bigger picture. At a government level, what you look for are outcomes. What are the outcomes? We have introduced this. What is the benefit? And as guys, what we have seen the benefit is, because now you're doing quality breeding, you're getting quality milk, we've been able to increase the amount of money the farmer gets from 37 shillings in 2022 to 50 shillings now.
It's important to go micro, because that answers the question of which farmer. Remember, the promise by the government was about the which farmer, which person benefits from government this time. It's bottom up. So which farmer is this?
Yeah,
that
Eric,
is now benefiting from this?
You're missing the point.
Okay.
You're missing the point. We have 22 herds of cattle. 5.4 of them are dairy cattle. If I as PS now begin to go and split hairs to find out which farmer and which cow benefited, it becomes very difficult. That's why we organize them in cooperatives. We make sure the cooperatives have good governance. The cooperatives have extension workers who now deal directly with the individual farmers. And then what we look at is what are the outputs. And I'm telling you the outputs are we are now having safer, higher quality milk, which the processors are paying more for. And so we've increased the price per litre per farmer from 37 shillings to 50 shillings. We have increased formerly marketed milk from almost 700 million litres to 811 million litres. Those are the outcomes we look for. So we say we've made this intervention, we've made this investment, has it paid off? Now within that whole realm of things, there's a farmer who has 2,000 cows, they have benefited. There's a farmer that has 2 cows, they've benefited. So what we do to validate this, and I'm sure you guys see me out in the farm, out in the field, is we go and visit the farmers. When we're doing vaccination exercises, when we're doing breed improvement exercises, we go when we are giving animal feed to teach the rations, we go out and visit the farms and we interview them. Even the farmers, have been to farms that have 3 cows, 5 goats, yeah. And they say, yes, tulipata hii kupitia cooperative, serikali imetusaidia, sasa nilikuwa napata pesa hii, sasa napata pesa hii. Others say, hatujaona serikali kikuja kudunga ng'ombe zetu tangu sijui lini. Sasa mnadunga, and now we are getting more money for our meat. And that's how we are able to see, are we making progress or not? But if I start now going to find out, okay, this farmer with 1 cow in Taita Taveta, how are they doing and have they gotten sex semen? I'll never be able to do anything else.
I hear you, PS, and I'm not minimizing anything that you've just said.
Yes.
It's impact, good.
Yes.
Numbers, very good. But at the same time, it's the focus of the who.
Yes.
Right? Because that is the backbone of the government and the administration. It is the who. I'm simply seeking for you to tell me, for example, X number of farmer cooperatives. If you told me X number of farmer cooperatives have benefited from this, then I know farmer cooperatives, many of them will be dealing with those small-scale dairy farmers. So we are seeing that this one is actually going to impact a small-scale dairy farmer who has been spending so much money on cow, trying to get the milk, and now they're getting more value for what they're doing. And then now we can say the impact of the Kenya Kwanza administration to the hustler economy is actually now being felt in the milk sector. So that the people do not come back and say, yeah, all these things have been imported and the government is supporting, but the government is supporting the big dairy farmers.
So Eric, what is our production system in Kenya? Smallholder.
Yes.
Right?
Largely.
Not largely, it's almost 85% smallholder. Okay? So, if I do a reform in tea and I see the volumes increase by 30%, surely would the 15% big tea commercial farms bring that kind of volume increase? No. The increase comes from the 85%. They're the ones who benefit most. So that's why I'm saying you look at the outcomes and then you know you've made the impact. So out of the 711 million litres which we increased to that 811 million litres that we increased from 700 million litres, yeah, we know 80% of that came from the smallholder farmer who've been aggregated into a cooperative.
Okay.
So I don't need to go and look for the smallholder farmer. I can see it in the numbers.
Let me get granular on that question.
You know, so we are. You're telling me to work hard, and I'm telling you, no, we're working smart, because working smart makes more sense.
I'm getting granular.
Yes.
When we look at this progress, unfortunately,
Yes.
we have to get granular in this sense.
Yes.
If we're talking milk production, we have to ask, okay, what was the average production of 1 cow milk production, 1 cow per day?
Correct.
And what has been the increase? Because now that one informs you directly
Correct.
about the improvement. So when you talk about the 700 million, 900 million, it is easy to understand. But you begin with that, you say...
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. So our average was 3 to 5
Liters per day.
Liters per day. We are now headed north towards 7 liters per day per cow. And that's how you're able to see that your interventions in breed improvement are bringing up the quality and the quantities, and your interventions in animal health and in animal feed are working.
If I'm to compare it with, say, a country that is known for its dairy products,
Yes.
the Netherlands, for instance,
Correct.
if you look at the population of their livestock, let's talk about cows specifically, we have almost 6 times the number. And yet, what you look at the average production of per cow per litre, it's something like 14.5 litres. Are we saying that that's where we want to get to? Where, when we're talking about the production and when we're talking about new technology and we're talking about how it is the improvement is, I'm asking the question, do we have a benchmark where we're saying, okay, we've improved from this to this, but what we want to head to so that we can compete internationally is actually this?
Yes, we do. In the commitment for 5 years, we want to head to 10. We are right now around 7. Yeah. Netherlands has been doing this for 40, 50 years commercially.
We're doing this for the longest possible time.
Yeah, and they're doing about 15. Now, we've just started having a big focus on commercial. Yeah, there's no other government since independence that has had a main agenda on economic transformation. This is it, and we are 2 years old now. And our thing is, the metrics we are trying to see is the economy growing? Is there more money? Are we producing? Are we exporting? Those are the metrics that we look at. Those are the metrics that are important to us because those are indicators if you're being competitive globally on your products. So we are trying to get there. It's been 2 years. We have already seen a jump and we're like, you know what? We are moving in the right direction. Now, once we get our animal identification and traceability, that makes our products again more competitive. Once we start largely commercializing, and now the government has a program called the Land Commercialization Initiative, where we are saying we have large tracts, hundreds of thousands of acres of idle government land. Actually, I think we have already identified 2 million acres. Why don't we give it to investors, large-scale investors, to grow animal feed? Animal feed constitutes 40 to 60%, 60% in poultry of the cost of production. Once you bring that down, then now you have a quality product at an affordable price, then you can compete again globally.
You become competitive.
Focus again on value addition. We've done great strides on value addition, especially in the dairy sector when we're talking about cheese, yogurt, butter, ghee. Yeah, we are now focusing on that because those are high value products. And then that means that you need higher quality milk with higher protein content, higher butter fat content for you to be able to make those high value dairy products. So we are also moving towards that manufacturing part of it. And you just see the numbers growing. You see our export numbers growing. You see our local consumption numbers growing. So it's working.
There's a component that
it's working.
I just want to touch on, and that is the nutrition aspect of it. Because if we're producing a lot of milk, are we also consuming a lot of milk? Again, I'm stuck on this country of Netherlands because their dairy production has been very directly related to health indexes or indices in the country. In fact, for that reason, there are those who claim, there's a debate, yes, but some of the tallest people on the planet right now are actually Dutch.
What's the per capita consumption of milk in Kenya? Actually, it's one of the highest.
So just let me read for you the numbers.
Yes.
Yeah, for dairy, and then I'll also get for you for the leather. So our formerly marketed milk increased from 755 million liters in 2022 to 811 million liters in 2024. That's a 7.4% increase. The value of marketed milk increased from 33.7 billion to 40.45 billion. That's a 20% increase in the 2 years Kenya Kwanza has been around. The farm gate price increased from 37 to 50 shillings. Dairy cooperatives increased from 670 to 770, a 17% raise. Dairy exports increased from 4.9 billion in 2022 to 7.3 billion in 2024. That's 49% increase. And per capita consumption of milk increased from 78.3 liters in 2022 to 86.1 liters in 2023. That's an increase in 10%.
So our per capita consumption of milk is actually right now at 86.1 liters.
And we are the highest in the region.
It's always been like that. It's a very, very high, 86.1 liters per person per year. It's a lot of milk. Let's talk about the other
And
sectors.
we want to increase that by seeing if we can reintroduce milk in the school feeding program. That will increase our per capita.
Leather. What have you done in the last 2 years?
We have been able to increase the exports in terms of value from 1.79 billion in 2022 to 2.5 billion in 2023. That's a 42% increase. We have been able to train almost 1,200 flayers to remove the skin from the animal. Actually, that was one of our biggest issues. Our leather manufacturers were saying that the skin is coming out damaged.
The quality.
So what we did as government, we went out, we mapped all the slaughterhouses, we got all the flayers together, we bought them flaying equipment because they were using regular knives. So the government bought them flaying equipment.
Flaying is what exactly?
Flaying is removing the skin from the body of the animal. For goats and sheep, it's skins. For cows, it's hides. So hides and skins. And the leather manufacturers were really complaining that we have low quality. So that has seen an increase in our exports to 42%. Why I say exports mostly is that's where we take our high quality leather. I'll be proud to tell you that our local manufacturers here in Thika, in Kitengela, are exporting finished leather for high-value fashion brands like Louis Vuitton, like Gucci, like Armani in Italy. So our leather is coming from here. We have also been able to finish a big part of the Kenya Leather Industrial Park. This is what is now gonna revolutionize our manufacturing in leather. Biggest component.
Is this the one in
Kenanye?
In Kenanye?
Yes.
That thing started in 2017.
Yes.
Is it complete now?
It is 90% complete. And why is that? Is because when the Kwanza administration came in, it became a top priority. So in the last year and a half, we've made great progress. We finished the common effluent treatment plant, which is the biggest component for that. About 60% of the cost of setting up a leather manufacturing company or factory is wastewater treatment. Leather is a highly chemical intensive manufacturing process, and you get a lot of wastewater that is not environmentally safe, and so NEMA requires you to treat that water before you can discard it into the environment. And that plant of a water treatment plant, waste treatment plant, is almost 60%. So government said, listen, why don't we put up as government a common plant where leather manufacturers or factories can come in and plug in. So that plant is complete. We've set up warehouses. So 2 of them and 2 tanneries where investors can come and plug and play as a pilot. It's 100 acres of land. So we've already taken about 10 acres and built the factories themselves to invite investors. What is remaining are 3 enablers that have given us a problem because of budgetary provisions. One is the road from Athi River to the plant. 2 is the power, which we just got 250 million shillings in our budget this year to get a power substation there. Again, the factory needs a lot of power. And 3 is water. And Tanath is working on that. That has slowed us down. The plant should have been complete last year, but that slowed us down because of budgetary constraints
When will it be complete?
From government. We are targeting for it to be complete in December. That was our target before the finance bill got rejected. So with the 346 billion shillings that got cut from the finance bill, that has affected that project.
So now we are exporting 2.5 billion shillings worth of leather outside of the country.
Yes.
And then this, of course, is translating into how much then the farmers are getting in terms of earnings. Are they earning more?
Yes,
Because
of course,
now they're
because
selling.
they are actually the leather manufacturers were in my office the day before yesterday, again complaining that they are not getting enough hides and skins, and that they are even now beginning to import from Rwanda. So we have some work to do with our slaughterhouses to ensure that as we are slaughtering animals, we're able to deliver the raw material properly to our manufacturers. Our manufacturers have also told us that they have doubled their incomes in leather sales, both locally and internationally, especially internationally. And Eric, I can tell you without fear of contradiction, 90% of the increased value of exports that we are seeing, that brought the shilling down from 160 shillings to 128 shillings to the dollar, is because of the president's foreign trips. The president has been our number one trade negotiator, our number one Kenya salesman, and every time he goes abroad, he signs MOUs, we get trade agreements, and people begin to order our stuff. So when I see sometimes people saying the president is traveling too much, I wonder, why do Kenyans want to shoot themselves in the foot? Because the huge benefits that we're being able to get from his trips abroad, in terms of even diaspora jobs, in terms of market for our goods and services, which directly translate into job creation here, sometimes I wonder, why don't you journalists just go out to the field and see? When you guys are talking about fake fertilizer that almost never existed, you need to go to Kitale, you need to go to Bungoma, you need to go to Nakuru, you need to go to Uasin Gishu, Eldoret, and see the kind of maize people have. And you wonder, can this maize that has increased our productivity by almost 30-40% have been zalishwad with fake fertilizer? Guys need to go out and see what's happening out there on the ground. The housing program that you guys are always fighting, there's right now a few hundreds of thousands of houses that are being built. Have you guys ever visited any of those sites? Just go and visit, see how many guys are there, how many engineers, how many architects, how many masons, where are the doors coming from, where are the windows coming from? Have you just gone here to Dagoretti and asked them, biashara sasa iko namna gani? There's a lot of impact economically
We ended there.
to people for so many things, but guys just sit here and listen to fake news. Somebody from committee, Eric, sends you a note and says Mueke is beginning to tax animals tomorrow, and then you put it out on Twitter and everybody believes Mueke is taxing animals. Mueke is not taxing any animals. But if you stop listening to the guy seated, that guy of nitumie kwa hii number M-Pesa, if you stop listening to him in committee and you just go to the ground, you'll see what's happening in leather. Go talk to the honey farmers. You'll see what's happening in honey. There's a lot of stuff that's happening.
Okay. Tumekusikia PS.
We've made a lot of progress.
And
A lot of progress as a country.
And we have been informed.
And we're in this country. It is 3 minutes after 9. Jonathan Mueke is the PS for livestock development in the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.